Really? Most of them are like sort of this common sense. Yeah.
That's why I was so upset. I would have.
Did you say that you want to say an application?
Okay, guys, we'll just give me a second and we'll get started.
Your bank account that it was paid off?
Oh, I didn't even look.
It's Wednesday, I have to be congratulations, I don't have the graphic, I
Because
don't
I
have
didn't
load,
get
don't worry about it.
anything. I was gonna say, that's a jerk.
Mine's been like a week.
Mine happened 2 days.
Really? I didn't
I
get,
checked it yesterday and we did it Monday.
oh, I didn't get anything back saying
That was
accepted.
actually faster than I anticipated at all.
Yeah, no, I haven't got anything from them. Mm-mm,
No?
no. And that was Thursday of last week.
Did you do
I
the
did mine.
application yourself?
Mm-hmm.
When you submitted it? Did you save it first when you submitted it?
Probably not.
Well, how did we do it, Patty?
Well,
Save
just,
it?
one second,
Okay, I'm sorry. But what she did was she saved it and then she had to go back and put they asked for my account number again,
Mm-hmm.
because it erases it. So you put the account number in and then you submit it. So you save it and it comes back up.
Oh, because it seemed like it went pretty smooth.
So the way it works is, if you just submit it, it'll save automatically.
Okay.
If you save it first, it's not gonna save your credit card details.
Right.
So if you save first and then go back into it to edit it and you'll put your credit card information in again and hit submit, then it will submit it. So if you go onto your Prometric account, and it should show you your application status,
Oh, okay.
that it's been, it'll tell you it's been submitted.
Okay.
So you want to make sure, just go into your Prometric account, make sure it says submitted, that way it went through. Check your spam folders as well, because Prometric is a high volume email company. They send out a lot of emails. And if you have like Yahoo or, who's your email provider?
Yeah.
Okay. Yahoo blocks everybody that sends out more than one email a month. I don't know why, but you want to look in your promotions and your spam folders because it probably was rerouted there. Yahoo is absolutely horrible for that.
To look at later, check it.
Yeah. All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Good.
Good. All right. So this is the last day you guys graduate. Yay. Good job. So exciting. So did you guys do your test for chapter 10?
Yes.
All right. Let me get your scores. Cassandra, Jenna, Dwight, Dalton, Regina, Cheryl, Brittany.
100.
I have to call their name just, so that if they're watching live, they can post their
Okay.
scores. Brittany, do you have 9 for me too?
I got 1 wrong.
Thank you. Nicholas, Angela,
100.
thank you. Felicia, Marie,
100.
thank you. And Marie, I did get your email. I'll take care of that today with your name. Catherine,
100.
Alina.
1.
Okay, Alina, do you have 8 and 9 for me?
Yeah. On one of those, I got 1 wrong.
Thank you. And Mariana? Stacy, how'd you do on 10?
I got both.
Okay.
10?
10.
2. They were all right, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Did anybody take the practice test on page 191? Anybody take that yet?
Yes.
How'd you do?
I got an 85.
Okay, good. If you missed 5 or less, you're ready for the state exam. If you missed more than 5, you probably want to go back and review some things. Get the ebook. The ebook will help you with that. Okay.
Now, one that I missed, because I started it and I checked it, I didn't read it all the way through, so read you all.
Yeah, read every answer. Don't get to the first one, think, yep, that's right, and choose it. Make sure you look at all of your answers Absolutely. Usually your first instinct is correct, but you've got to have the full information to go on. Yeah. Any other final questions before we wrap up? No?
When we take the test, they let us know that day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, at the end of the day, you'll get both of your results for your clinical skills and your written.
And if by chance something happens, they cannot schedule us at the site. You have to go back to Prometric.
Right, you have to go back to Prometric. You've got to register for just the section that you failed. So let's say that you passed the written and you failed the skills, the most common. Then you would go back to Prometric. You're going to do another application, but this time you're going to hit retest. It's going to, because there's a part of the application that says first time tester or retest. You want to hit the retest. And then you would only have to pay for and take the portion that you failed. But you're going to do fine. You have to wait 30 days to retest. You do not have to wait 30 days to apply. So apply right away. And that's when that test date comes in. You know, at the top of the application, it asks, have you taken the CNA exam since 2002? When? Well, you're going to want to know if you're retesting what your test date was, because they can't schedule you until 30 days after that. Good? All right. So I know we talked a little bit about this on Monday, but I want to just briefly touch on it a little bit before we finish up class. Did anybody watch the Netflix special, Take Care of Maya? Anybody watch that?
I looked it up to watch it, but I haven't yet. I plan on it this week.
Okay. So I want to talk about I'm not going to talk about the legalities of it. I'm not going to talk about whether they were right or wrong. I'm not going to talk about any of that. Okay. Everybody's free to form their own opinions. I have very strong ones myself. But what I want to talk about is one single line from that whole documentary that I really zeroed in on because of what I do. Okay. And it was toward the end, and Maya is talking to all of us. She's talking to the camera to all of us. And what she said was how horrifying it was to hear the staff members out in the hallway talking about they thought that she was faking it. And how frustrating and demoralizing it was to not be believed by the people that you go to for help. I just can't even imagine being a young girl in that situation, not able to go home, having no support system around them, and have people openly discuss her case in the hallway where she can hear it. And now she's in a position where she has to doubt the very people that are preventing her from going home. Can you imagine the absolute terror that would instill in a patient when you are physically forced to stay in this place surrounded by people who are actively saying that they don't believe you?
How old was she?
11.
Yeah. Right.
So that's horrible. That's criminal. That's unforgivable. And that we're CNAs and nurses. I'm not going to get into the doctors and the legal system and the social workers and all of that. Okay. I'm talking about things that are in our control, because the rest of that was not in any CNAs or nurses' control. But the one thing that was in our control are modalities. CNAs and nurses totally dropped the ball, because that is what we are there for. Our entire thing is it's always about the patient. Forget about all the other legal stuff. Nobody was there to support the patient at a time when she needed support more than anything else. And that, to me, is the part that I don't think that they're focusing enough on. That's in our control. I don't care what you personally think. It doesn't get discussed. You don't have the training to have a personal opinion on this. You simply don't. So the fact that we failed her I'm just talking about a medical society, we failed this little girl on so many levels. But this one, I think, is the most damaging. Because she doesn't want medical care anymore. And I don't blame her. But the really, really tragic thing for me in all of this is that it is not an isolated incident. We do this with old people too. We put them in nursing homes. We trap them there. We treat them like absolute garbage. And then we get mad at them for taking too long to brush their teeth. What we do, how we act, the words we use matter. And if you take nothing else out of that documentary, please take that. Because what we do matters. Make sense? Okay, no more soapbox. But I think that needs to be said. It's way outside the scope of practice of a CNA to get involved in any of the other things. But that, the one thing in our control, we totally screwed it up. Okay. All right. So, okay, that's not working. All right, so last class, guys. This is it. Don't come on Monday. I won't be here. You will have this room available for practice on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1:30 until 4 for about a month or 6 weeks through the holidays. Now, I will say, that being said, I do keep this room open for you, but I am getting ready to retape the videos. And obviously, I'm going to be using the room to do that. So I don't know, because I'm kind of limited by the hours that my son is available to, cooperate with testing. So if he's available on a Monday or Wednesday afternoon, I may have a sign on the door, clinical room closed. Okay. I will be posting on my Facebook page if I'm going to be closing the room on a practice day. So if, I'll say, Monday the 30th, room is closed. Please make sure you check our Facebook page before driving all the way up here. That'll be how I get the word out. Okay. All right. Good. Does that sound fair? All right. So page 171 in your book is going to talk to you about renewal requirements. I'm going to show you a video for this. The video is going to explain the entire process for renewing your CNA certification. You don't have to take notes. The notes are right here for you. I make it easy for you. This video is also on my main website under after certification. Because when you go to renew, it's going to be, anywhere between 6 and 18 months from now. You'll see why. And you're not going to remember all of this. So this is available on my website under after certification. So let's watch the video and get into what to expect when it comes to renewal, when you have to renew, what the requirements are, how to meet those requirements, and how to actually renew. As long as you're renewing on time, you never have to take the exam again. So keep up with your certification. Don't let it lapse, because otherwise you're going to come see me again. Oh, Carrie says, good morning, Miss Patti. Testing this Friday. Thank you for all your help. Oh, that's fantastic, Carrie. Great vibes out to you. You're going to do great. So, all right, so let's show this video.
How to renew your Florida CNA certification. A guide for Florida CNAs. Brought to you by foryourcna.com. After you pass your state exam, you will receive your certification card in the mail. This card gives you valuable information. Take a moment to look it over.
That's as loud as I can make it, guys. Sorry.
Check your name and address to make sure they are correct. Make a note of your CNA certification number. You will need this for employment and in-service credit. Your certification also comes with a convenient wallet card. Sign this and keep it in your wallet for handy proof of certification. But one of the most important things you need to pay attention to is the expiration date. It will be located near the top of the blue card in the grid. In Florida, CNAs are divided into two groups, odd year group and even year group. Everyone in the even year group will renew their certifications in even years, such as 2018, 2020, 2022, and so on. Everyone in the odd year group will renew their certifications in odd years, such as 2017, 2019, etc. When you become certified, you will join one of these groups. But which group you end up in has nothing to do with when you test. You will be assigned a group when you receive your first certification, and you will remain in that group even if you allow your certification to lapse and you retest later in life. So how do you know when you will have to renew? It's easy. Check your expiration date. Every certification will expire on May 31st, either in an odd year or an even year. You need to know which group you are in. This is Jenny. Jenny became a CNA in 2017. She was placed into the even year group, so her expiration date will be in even years. She is joining a group already in progress, so her expiration date will be the same as theirs, regardless of when she became certified. Everyone in this group has the same expiration date. So, do I have to take the test again? No. As long as you meet all the requirements and renew on time, you will never have to take the state boards again. In order to renew your CNA certification in Florida, you must meet two requirements and pay a small fee. You must work at least once as a CNA for pay in this renewal cycle. You must complete the required number of in-service hours and pay the renewal fee. We will look at each of these in more detail in the following section. In Florida, every CNA is required to perform nursing-related services for monetary compensation within the renewal period in order to renew their certification. That means they have to get paid to do CNA skills. This rule is in effect to ensure that CNAs are using their skills so that they do not forget what they have learned. But there are no specific amount of hours that are required. But be careful. If you are not currently working in healthcare as a CNA, you may not be able to renew. But there is a way. Follow me to see Jim's story. This is Jim. Jim became certified as a CNA in 2016. Jim planned on going to work in the local hospital after he became certified. But Jim's uncle needed help at his bank and hired Jim. Jim likes his new job at the bank and he's doing very well there. He doesn't want to leave the bank, but he wants to keep his CNA certification active. He worked hard to get it. One of Jim's bank customers, a supervisor at the local home health agency, mentioned that they were looking for weekend CNAs to care for some of their new clients. Jim immediately filled out an application. He was hired and now works only one Saturday a month. Jim kept his regular job at the bank, but still met the requirements for renewal. Jim will keep one of his pay stubs for proof of the work requirement. Now let's look at the second requirement, in-services. In Florida, continuing education courses for CNAs are called in-services. You must complete a certain amount of continuing education every renewal period in order to renew your certification. You must complete continuing education in services in certain topics every renewal period. These will include bloodborne pathogens and infection control, domestic violence, medical record documentation, resident rights, communication with cognitively impaired individuals, CPR skills, and medical error prevention and safety. So remember your expiration date on your certification. You need to compute how many months you will have that certification to determine how many hours you need. You will need 1 hour of in-service for every month that you are certified. First, locate the date that your certification was issued. Then locate your expiration date. Count the number of months that you will have your certification in this certification period. So if this certification issue date was January 1st, 2017, and the expiration date is May 31st, 2018, there are 17 months of certification. This certification will be valid for 17 months before renewal. So this certification will require 17 hours of in-services for renewal. Once you have done your required topics, the remainder of the hours can be in a topic you choose. Choose topics that relate to your work environment or an environment that you want to work in. The topics you choose are entirely up to you, and the choices are endless. In-services can even help you if you want to change jobs. How? I'm glad you asked. Let's say that you currently work in a dementia unit. But then your friend tells you about a job opening at a local hospital. You've never worked in a mother-baby unit, but you really want this job. You can complete in-service topics related to this new opportunity to show motivation. This shows that although you lack experience, you are willing to learn. Supervisors like that. Now that you know how many in-service hours you need for renewal and what the required topics are, you need to find out how to get them. Most workplaces require an orientation session for new employees. Some employers will give you in-service credit for completing these modules during orientation. In-services can be awarded for watching videos, classroom instruction, formal group discussions, or even self-study at home. This is a great interview question. Do you offer in-service training hours? In-services can also be awarded for topics discussed in monthly workplace meetings. Sometimes hospitals and other community agencies will host continuing education opportunities. These are often advertised online or in community newspapers or bulletins. But for many CNAs, the easiest way to get your required in-services is online. There are many online in-service providers. Each is structured a bit differently, but most have some sort of free trial. Simply search for CNA In-Services Florida in your favorite search engine. If you are unsure if the provider you want to use is recognized by the Board of Nursing as an approved provider, you can check them out on CE Broker. Go to cebroker.com. Under Course Search, select your state and your profession, and then click the Begin Search bar. Now click the Providers tab to access a list of approved providers. You can also search for courses right on this website. So far, we've learned how to work at least once as a CNA for pay this renewal cycle, and we've learned how to complete the required number of in-service hours. So all that's left is to renew and pay the fee. The bottom of your certification card contains the information you will need to renew. Your specific renewal instructions are printed here. Once you access the website listed on your certification card, flhealthsource.gov, click on Renew a License. After logging in, follow the prompts, check off the requirements, and pay the fee. Renewal can take less than 15 minutes to complete as long as all of your requirements are met. You will sign in with your username and password on your certification card. You do not have to send anything to the Board of Nursing to prove that you've met the requirements. You only need to send proof, which would consist of a pay stub and in-service certificates, if the Board of Nursing requests them from you. You must keep your proof for at least 4 years after renewing. Never, ever lie on your renewal. The Board of Nursing does periodic audits. The penalties for lying on your renewal are severe. Make sure you've met all the requirements before completing your renewal. You now have all the knowledge you need to renew your CNA certification in Florida. Remember to look at your new certification card for your next expiration date. Until then, happy caregiving.
Right. Any questions on that?
The hours,
Mm-hmm.
I thought there am I wrong? Did there used to be you had to work a certain amount of hours?
All the statutes say is work at least once as a CNA for pay. That's what the state statute
Not
says.
6 hours, not 12 hours. Thank you, okay.
Yep, at least once as a CNA for pay. Now, other states have set hours. There's also a few states out there that you don't renew on your own. You're renewed simply by working in a nursing home. So as long as you're actively working in a nursing home, your certification is active. When you don't work in a nursing home, you have 24 months before your certification expires. So every state handles this a little bit differently.
And nobody notifies you.
They'll give you,
Work used to notify me, saying it's,
in Florida,
okay.
in Florida, they're going to send you a renewal card. So they basically say, your certification is due to renew in May of this year. They send them out in February usually. Your work will keep up with it if they have a good human resources manager. So they, keep track of who's getting ready to expire, because if they allow you to work with an expired certification, they get fined. So human resources will usually keep up with it as well. Okay. Yeah, they don't want that fine, and they can't trust you. All right. So that is how to renew your certification. So again, this video is available on my website. If you go to foryourcna.com under after certification, you'll see CNA renewal instructions, and that's where this video is. That way it's easy for you to find when it comes time to renew, because like I said, you won't be renewing right away. It'll be sometime in the future, and you'll forget between now and then. So this is what your blue card is going to look like.
Excuse me, may I come in?
Sure. Come on in. This is what your blue card looks like. Your expiration date is going to be right up at the top here, 5/31 of 24. Make sure you keep up with your blue cards. So the next question that I get a lot, this is on page 172, is what happens if I want to move out of state? So on page 172 and 173, you're going to see the contact information for every board of nursing across the country. So if you decide that you want to move to New York, for example, then you would contact the Board of Nursing in New York. You want to make sure you're doing this at least 6 weeks before you plan on working. This is not an overnight situation. And lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on theirs. They're not going to speed up because you need to get to work. Doesn't work like that. So you need to give yourself about 6 to 8 weeks of processing time. But let's say you want to move to New York. You call up the New York Board of Nursing, say, hey, I'm a Florida CNA. I want to be a New York CNA. What does that take? New York's going to say, cool, get a background check done for us. And no, your Florida background check does not, it does not transfer. You have to get one in that state. So you'll get your background check, you'll pay a fee, and they'll issue you a certification in New York based on the fact that you got one here. Awesome. So now you got 2 certifications. That means double the renewal unless you let one of them lapse. Keep that in mind. Renewing one does not renew all. Every state would have to be renewed independently. And remember, I said that every state's work requirements are different. So if you get a certification in another state, you may not meet the qualifications to be able to keep your certification in that state when it comes time to renew. So unless you're actively planning on working in both states, you're probably not going to be able to renew. Okay, good. So this is all of the contact information for the boards of nursing throughout the country. All right, so now let's talk about finding a job. So this is on page 174. This is different than finding a job in other industries. And I'm going to explain why. Normally, if you want a job, you're going to go to an online jobs board, look up, I don't know, retail positions or whatever it is that you're looking for, and jobs will populate. And that's a good way to find a job in most industries. A lot of times you'll go into places and they'll have a help wanted sign on the door, or you can go into the big box store down the road and fill out an application at their job kiosk. So there's lots of different ways to find jobs. But medicine is a little bit different. When you go onto those online jobs boards, like Career Builder, Monster, Snag a Job, Indeed, all of those online jobs boards, for an employer to post a job opening, it costs them money. It costs them money either to post or for every application that they get. And it costs a lot of money. I'm not talking about a little bit. The average is about $350 to $500 per week is what it costs them to recruit an applicant. That's a huge amount of money. Now, in medicine, we are chronically short-staffed. They're like here, my retail store, I had a position open. A position only shows up once every 5 or 10 years. So for me, it makes sense to put an ad out on a jobs board because as soon as I find somebody, I take the ad down and I'm done. In medicine, we are chronically understaffed. Every facility has multiple CNA openings at all times. They can't afford to pay out $350 to $500 a week all the time to try to recruit people. Does that make sense? So you are not going to see every job opportunity listed on an online jobs board. Most people don't know this. They think that that's a comprehensive listing of all opportunities, and that's just not true. So how do you find a job in medicine if they're not listed on these job boards? Well, the best way is to go directly to their website. Every facility has a website, and every website has a jobs tab or a career link. And you can search for opportunities directly on the website and apply right there. That doesn't cost the facility money. So if you want to work at Oak Hill Hospital, you need to go to Oak Hill Hospital's website. If you want to work at Family Friends Home Care, you want to go to Family Friends Home Care website. You want to look around your community, figure out where you want to work, and apply directly on the website for that facility. Now, if it's a smaller facility, I'm not talking about hospitals. I'm talking about nursing homes, assisted living, home care. Go into the office. Let them know that you're interested in a job. They'll probably tell you you have to apply online. That's fine. But at least now they have a face to put with a name. Okay, it makes you look more interested in the position. Does that make sense? Now, I've done all the work for you, like everything else. Okay, so let me go. Oh, hold on, let me get to where I'm at here. kind of went out of order here. Okay, there we go. All right, so again, go to my website, foryourcna.com. Same place after certification. Remember, we saw that CNA renewal video here. Right above it, you'll see local employers. If you go to that page, you're going to see that I have listed all of the local employers, and I've broken them down into categories. All the hospitals in our area, all the nursing homes, all the assisted living facilities. If you scroll down, you'll see home care agencies, staffing agencies, pediatrics, and other. And each one of these is a clickable link. When you click that, it'll take you directly to their website, usually to their job search page on their website. So I've done all the work here for you. All you have to do is go to this page and click the links to go to their websites. Okay? Good? Okay, so when you're trying to figure out where to apply, you kind of have to figure out where do you want to work, right? It doesn't do you any good to apply to absolutely every place because you may not be good in every place. And I'll give you an example of this. I am not a labor and delivery nurse. Absolutely not. Mother baby is not the place for me. Way too much drama. I mean, it is like, you think high school was bad? Mother baby units, way worse. When I was in nursing school and I had to do my rotation through mother baby unit, this is what I encountered, right? This is like a 8-week period of time, right? This is what we encountered in that 8 weeks. We had the Hatfields and the McCoys. Two families could not be in the room at the same time, could not even be in the waiting room at the same time. They would fight. So you're trying to separate them. We had a situation where 2 baby daddies showed up. They both thought baby was theirs. We had another situation where mom and dad, the mother and father of the baby, were fighting over who had to take the baby home. Not got to, who had to. I don't want him. Don't you want him? I don't want him. All right, so way too much drama for me. All right, give me unstable cardiac any day of the week on your girl. I am an ICU girl. I will even do okay in the ER. I can deal with the ER stuff. I am not a mother baby nurse. So would I apply for a mother baby job? No, because if I'm there, I'm going to be absolutely miserable. So you need to know where you are going to fit. Some of you are going to be absolutely fantastic with the elderly. Me, I love the elderly. Absolutely love them. So that's kind of my niche, right? So I would need to know that. I did do pediatrics for a while, and that was great. I loved the kids. That I was younger then. That was wonderful, but I hated the families. I just hated working with the families because they were all like, they didn't do the things that I needed them to do that were in the best interest of the child. And I had no control over that because I'm there for the child, not to teach them how to be good parents. So you have to find your niche in this. Does that make sense? All right. So how do you find your niche? It could be assisted living, could be nursing home. Assisted living, very little medical, mostly personal care, small things. But you're going to have a lot more patients to take care of because you're doing less with each one. Nursing homes, more medical. There's going to be tubes and treatments and working closer with nurses. Pediatrics, little guys, but they come with families. Be warned. Hospitals. Hospital everybody wants to work at, right? It's like, I don't know. I think Grey's Anatomy out there has got you guys thinking hospitals are something they're not. Everybody wants to work at a hospital. Hospitals have their own challenges, guys. Yes, you're going to see a lot more. And it does tend to be more of a team atmosphere in most cases. But the problem with hospitals is that if you don't have good, strong skills, you're going to drown because a hospital waits for nobody.
if you don't have good adaptability and flexibility, hospital is not going to be, if you want to go into work and have the same thing every single day, yeah, hospital is not going to be your cup of tea.
And hospitals are usually 12 hours anyways.
Yeah, they're also 12-hour shifts. Yeah. So we have to start thinking about, you know,
A lot more 12-hour shifts every place nowadays.
yeah, there are still some 8 hours though. There are still some. But you have to start thinking about, okay, there's a lot of criteria here. I don't want to get into a place where I'm going to fail right out of the gate. So how do I know what place is best for me? And I have a quiz for that. I am here to help you with that. So if you go to foryourcna.com, your ideal workplace, you get this in your email as well. But your ideal workplace, it's a quick quiz. I think there's 19 questions. And at the end, it's going to tell you where you are most likely to thrive. And it's surprisingly accurate. I spent about 9 months developing this quiz. A lot of psychology went into it. I beta tested it on over 1,000 currently working nurses, CNAs, and other healthcare providers to make sure it is surprisingly accurate. Has nothing to do with medical. It's all based on your personality traits, your work ethic, your team dynamics, the type of shift that you prefer, the type of care that you think you want to provide, whether it's personal care or medical care. So it's going to help you narrow down the right workplace for you. But I challenge you also to think about things that maybe don't line up with traditional hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities. Right now in our county, we actually have a CNA position at the jail. Mm-hmm. Now that gets state benefits, guys, state retirement. And positions don't open up a lot at the jail. And you know what that tells me? If the positions don't open up a lot, yeah, they like it. Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you why. A lot of people are like, oh, no way, I would not work at the jail. That's scary. Let me tell you why. If you work at the local hospital, do you know there are just as many violent, crazy people at the hospital than there are at the jail? We just don't know about it yet. You know how we find out? We see the headlines. Yeah. So in the jail, we know they're violent and crazy. And you know what? We got guards. You're never alone with your patients. In a hospital, you're alone with your patients. And that's how we find out they're violent and crazy, is when we see that headline of what they did to you. So be aware that, situations that you might think are not good working situations might actually be a better work situation than you would think. Okay. Great benefits too. All right. So now that you know where you should look for jobs, what's going to fit your personality, you can start out on jobs boards. Indeed, Monster, Simply Hired, Career Builder, USA Jobs. Let me talk to you about this one. USA Jobs is specific for government jobs, like the VA. The VA is going to post on USA Jobs. But there's other opportunities there too, like, strangely enough, the State Department. Who would have thought, right? So if you want a kind of a non-traditional CNA opportunity that has really good government benefits, that might be a good place to look for opportunities. Now, the one thing I love about the VA is that once you get into the VA system, you can transfer to any VA. So let's say I decide I want to go work in Hawaii for a little while. I tell them I want a 6-month transfer to Hawaii, and hey, I got a 6-month Hawaii assignment. I mean, how horrible is that? So you can transfer within the VA system, and they actually will help you with any licenses or transfer requirements that you might have.
And that's through the USA Jobs?
Yeah, USA Jobs. You can also go directly to the VA as well.
So this is what I was telling you about. Each online jobs board charges for listings. So when you look at this, let me turn this a little bit. When you look at this, you can see just how expensive these things are. You can kind of, there we go, kind of get an idea. LinkedIn, I can't afford to advertise on LinkedIn. I don't have enough money. It's really expensive. But LinkedIn is more for higher level professional jobs. It's not really where you're going to find a CNA job. So the one that you probably are most familiar with is Monster and Indeed, and they're both pretty pricey. Pretty pricey. Snag a Job, not much money at all. Simply Hired, not much money. USA Job, pennies. So a lot of your government jobs are going to be on that USA Jobs rather than on the other jobs boards. Make sense? So there's thousands of online jobs boards. But remember that one isn't going to show you all of your employment opportunities because employers have to figure out where to put their advertising money. Where are their applicants searching? So if you go on to Indeed, you may see an opportunity for a local hospital, but if you go on Monster, it's not there because they have to pick and choose. So the best thing to do is to go direct to the facility that you want to apply to. Now, when you go to your facility's website, if they have, let's just pick on Oak Hill Hospital down the road. Let's say that Oak Hill Hospital, we go onto their website and they have 3 CNA positions open. They have 2 north, 3 west, and 4 south. Okay, that's how they label their floors. If you have no sense of direction, this is really going to mess you up. But let's say that they have 3 different positions for CNAs listed. Well, one of them will be a telemetry opportunity. One is going to be med surge. One is going to be a cardiac step down unit. You have no idea which one you want to work at. You really don't care. You're looking for a job. You just want a place to start, right? So you pick one. Med surge sounds good. I'll pick that one. And you click on med surge and you apply to med surge. Well, understand you are only applying to med surge. Telemetry doesn't know you exist. Either does the cardiac step down unit. No clue that you are on the planet because they don't share applications. When you apply to one, you are only applying to one. So if you have no preference, you should apply to all of them to try to open up your opportunities a little bit. But there's a point here, especially for hospitals. Very, very, very big caveat to this. When you fill out an application for a hospital online, it does not go to the hospital. People think it does. Right? I'm filling out an application for this hospital. It's going to the No, it doesn't. It goes to a human resources company located usually in South Florida or St. Pete or somewhere like that handles all the human resources for all the hospitals in that system. So that human resources person has no idea what the difference between CPR and BLS is because they are not healthcare people. They are human resources people. So if the job description says BLS required and you put on your application that you are CPR certified, in their mind, that doesn't match. They throw your application away. So when you're filling out applications online, understand that is not going to a nursing professional in your hospital. It's going to a human resources person buried in a cubicle thousands of miles away. You want to make it easy for them. You want your application to match the job description exactly. Whatever words they use, you use. Make it match. If it matches, then they'll forward it on to the hospital, who will forward it on to the unit manager, who will hopefully get in touch with you for interview. My suggestion when you're trying to get a hospital interview, be persistent. Apply. Wait a week. Apply again. Wait a week. Apply again. wait a week, apply again. Because if they see your name over and over and over and over and over again, those are the people that tend to get interviews. Okay.
Like 2 minutes from where I live, there is a assisted living facility. Do you think I could volunteer to work there? They would take volunteers, or there is some liability on it?
Right. Normally they don't do volunteers.
Because of liability.
Right.
So,
Right. They wouldn't take it. Well, let me back up. A lot of times they will allow volunteers, but they're in non-patient capacities. Like they might be passing out newspapers or assisting with activities, but it's in non-patient care positions. So if you're looking for a patient care position, you would have to become an employee. And that's because of HIPAA, right? Privacy.
so
It's also because of liability for the facility.
because I would like to volunteer so I could learn, because I'm gonna do home care for my father. But I would like to at least go for, I don't know, volunteer for 30 days or 60 days so I could practice with someone, because right now he is okay. He only needs help when he gets sick. So how am I gonna get experience if I
We'll practice on him while he's healthy. You can brush his teeth. Why can't you brush his teeth?
he would not let me do that unless he's dying.
Do you have, if he knows that you're practicing for when he does need you, he may be more willing.
Okay.
Have you talked to him about it?
Well, he's the one that sent me here to do this, so I guess he's going to have to agree with that, because I'm gonna have to explain to him.
Right. And the whole point is to practice, until before you go take your test. But if he is going to be your main patient, I would want to learn on him before he becomes your patient. So you start to understand when he's healthy, what he likes, how he's going to respond to these things.
See the progression?
Right.
Where I can buy that belt, the belt to remove him from the chair.
Yeah, you can just go online and order a gait belt. We have a whole kit that has everything in it. Can you go next door and get a kit from Jake, please? I probably need to have one in here anyway. We have a whole kit that has everything in it: the gait belt, the bedpan, the graduate container, the urinary drainage bag, toothette, toothbrush, dentures, denture cup, chucks, gloves, emesis basin, bath basin. Everything that you need to practice is in this kit. So that may be something that might be worth an investment for you. Mm-hmm. Yep. And through today, they're $45.99. On my website, they're $65.99. So you're getting a huge discount. But ordering a gait belt alone, if you just go on to, one of the big box stores online and order a gait belt, it's going to cost you about $15 just for the gait belt. And the kit you're getting for an extra $30, you're getting absolutely everything you need. So that may be a good opportunity for you. But also, do you have, okay. Also, do you have friends, family, neighbors, anybody that you can say, hey, I'm getting ready to take my CNA certification. I need to practice. Do I have anybody in my orbit that I can pay? Hey, I'll give you $20 to be my patient for 2 hours. Let me practice my skills. If you have to pay somebody, pay somebody. But most of the time, if people in your orbit know that you're trying to better yourself and get certified in something, most people will be willing to say, yeah, you can practice on me, no problem.
It's not like that. It's like my front door neighbor, she had her both hands surgery, and she could not take shower, she couldn't do nothing. Her husband was overwhelmed, and we eat along with them. I baked them sometimes, and we changed food and everything, and I went there visit her. I told, look, I'm doing this CNA stuff. I can come here for free. I can help you take a bath. I can cook for you. I am not the best cook in the. Do you think she called me in? And then I told her husband, I told, more than offer, I cannot do. So people are not comfortable with. I don't know, maybe free teams, or they are not comfortable with the neighbors. I don't know what is this about. This is a culture that I don't understand. If it was in my country, there would be a line of people there
Right.
doing it. So I went to visit her again. She said, "No, you don't really need." But the husband said, "Look, I think you should take over." I told, "No way, I'm gonna do that because she doesn't want. If she wanted, she would call me, because she called me to go shopping. She called me to go to the library pick up books. If she didn't call me to help her to take a shower or do something, it's because she doesn't want. So we have to respect that, right, Miss Pam?"
Right.
Might be hard for her.
I was going to say that
Yeah.
it seems to me like she is having difficulty accepting her declining independence. And that's normal. That's absolutely normal. If you phrased it in a way where you're not helping her, she's helping you, she might be more receptive. I would try that. You know, listen,
Her
I just,
mother is coming to help her because she still cannot even eat. They have to buy this special stuff that she has to grab like this to eat, because
Yeah.
it's going to take like 2-3 months for her to move her hands.
Yeah. I can't solve each individual problem because I don't know the patient. I'm not involved in the case, but I'm telling you that if it were me, I would phrase it a different way. I would say, I graduated a CNA class. I'm getting ready to take my test. I really need somebody to practice on. Is it possible that you will let me practice on you? And it may help you as well, but it would really help me out because I really don't have anybody to practice on. If you phrased it like that, people are more likely to jump in if they think they're doing you a favor rather than you doing them a favor. Because when you do them a favor, now they feel like they're obligated to, you know, pay you back in some way. Okay, so I would maybe approach it from that angle and see what you get. But regardless, take all of that out of it. Okay, there's always a solution to the problem. You just have to dig deep to find it. Okay, so take all of that away. You don't have anybody to practice on. I get that. You have this room available on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1:30 until 4. You've got a mannequin, and I guarantee you she will let you do whatever you need to do. Okay, she's not going to give you a hard time. You have other people in here. Before you guys leave today, you should be exchanging phone numbers or doing a Facebook group or something so that you can call her up and say, "Hey, I'm going to practice on Monday. Are you planning on being there?" She will be your patient for you, and you can be a patient for her because you're both in the same situation. You're getting ready to test and you need to practice. So you need to make use of the opportunities that you have here as well. You have the room, you have the mannequin, and you have other people that also need to practice. So there is a solution to your problem. You just have to figure out which solution is best. It may be coming in here. It may be talking to your neighbor. If it were me and that gentleman had paid me to take this class to take care of him, he would be my first stop. Hey, listen, you sent me to class. I now know what I need to know, but I got to practice to be able to take the test. So have a seat. Let me practice brushing your teeth. Let's do this now so that it's not so awkward when you really need it. Right? Because when he really needs it, he's going to be resentful over the fact that he is no longer independent. So it's going to be really hard for him to let you brush his teeth when he needs it done because he's going to be dealing with a lot of emotional problems. If we've already got the awkwardness worked out months before, it's going to make this a lot easier. So that, if it were me, would be my first stop. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay. But there are solutions to your problem. I don't want you to leave here thinking that there are no solutions. There are. You just have to figure out which one is going to work best for you. Okay. Good? Okay. All right. So your websites are probably the best opportunity. But remember that when you're going on to an employer website, You want to make sure that you're applying for every position listed and that your application matches the job description, and apply often, because otherwise you may not get the right results. So, certainly try the websites. We talked about this already. This is a real problem, though. If you aren't real sure where you want to work, this can get like super, right here in our community, we have hundreds of places to apply, literally hundreds. So my little employment corner over there, that's just a small percentage of people that have come in and given me their flyers and said, please, can we come in on graduation day and speak to your class? And I had to stop doing that because literally I could have a job fair in here every single graduation, and I would have a couple of hundred employers in here trying desperately to get you. I know that because they're all in my inbox, guys. My email is full of, are you graduating a class out? Are you graduating a class out? We need them, we need them, we need them. So I tell them, just send me your flyers and I'll put them up. I'll tell the students about them. But guys, everybody out there needs you. Everybody is hiring. We are now in snowbird season. Have you noticed the traffic? Okay. Healthcare in Florida has seasons from October until April, sometimes May. Our population doubles. All of those people that came down from up north, they all brought their germs down with them, and they all get sick. And our hospital and nursing home, what we call census, or the amount of patients in those facilities, skyrockets during these months. So you are actually coming into healthcare at the peak demand. The first place you go, they're probably going to say, yeah, you're hired. When do you want to start? You got to make sure it's the right place for you. Okay. And they're not all the right places for you. Be careful. You get into the wrong place, it actually can hurt you, because what I see it all the time, guys. Oh my gosh, all the time. People will go through a CNA class, they'll get certified, they take the test, all that stress, all that money, they get certified, they go to their first job and they absolutely hate it. Not what they wanted to do. The people are mean. They feel like a fish out of water. They're not fast yet. They feel very self-conscious. They hate it. And they leave. They don't just leave the facility, they leave healthcare. I don't want that to happen. My job is to prepare you for a career, not a 2-week period of torture. So you have a responsibility here to make sure that you understand your ideal workplace based on your personality traits. So you're getting in a place where you're more likely to thrive. And you also have an obligation, if that place doesn't work, to try a new place. Because usually it's not the place that you have a problem with. It's the people. And let me explain that. Let's say that you go to the hospital down the road. We won't mention the name. The hospital down the road. And you have a bad experience there. And you tell everybody I would never go to the hospital down the road. They're horrible there. Now, you're not talking about the parking, are you? You're not talking about the color of the walls. You're not talking about the front entrance and how it's decorated. You're not even talking about the food. What are you talking about? The people. Yeah, the people, how you were treated. You're probably not even talking about the medical care you received. You're talking about the way you were treated while you were there. Now, that all boils down to people, right? So it's the same when you're working. When you're working in a place and you have a negative experience, it's not the parking lot. It's not the color of the building. It's not how the front door was decorated. It's not even the food. And it's probably not even the work that you're doing. Most people leave a job because of the people.
not the performance. So you have to remember that if you have a negative experience, especially brand new, it's probably not the place, it's probably the people. So find new people. Go to a different shift. Go to a different unit. Go to a different place. But don't leave healthcare. We need you. Okay? Good? Google also has a search. And Google, this is what makes this pretty interesting. Google actually pulls off of websites if they allow Google to pull. So Google is free. So if you go into Google and search CNA jobs near me, you will probably see opportunities that were taken directly from the websites of our local business partners. So that's kind of a new tip that I wanted to bring to your attention. That's not the only place that we can look. Social media as well. Every facility has a social media account. Everyone. And usually they'll post on there when they're looking for people. In fact, that's how I found the opportunity at the sheriff's, at the jail. Because I'm friends with the sheriff's department on Facebook. You know, I like their page. So when they have job openings, it shows up on my Facebook feed. I didn't have to go search for that. It showed up. Okay. They're also hiring RNs. I thought about it. So social media is a great opportunity for you. Go like the pages of your local hospitals, the nursing homes, so you'll know when they're hiring. But probably the best way, all of that aside, we just went through a lot, right? All of that aside, the best way is this. Use your network. Everybody here knows somebody that works in medical. It's the dominant industry in Hernando County. So whether it's your friend, your neighbor, your cousin, your best friend's mom, you know somebody that works in medical. And chances are that place that they work is hiring. And if they refer you, they get a bonus, and so do you. So tap your network. Hey, do you work in medical? I think you do. You wear scrubs. Where do you work? What do you do? Are they hiring? Do they do referrals? Can you give me a referral? If they do and you get hired, they get a bonus. Trust me, they'll give you a referral. Okay. But you will too. Because that money that the facility didn't have to spend on marketing, they're going to give to you. The other benefit to this, and this is a huge benefit from an employer standpoint. Okay. Now I got multiple employees here that I have to manage. And it is a bad day if they're not getting along. Bad day for everybody. Customers, us, everybody. It's a bad day, right? So wouldn't it be better for me to reduce friction in the workplace if I knew that my employees got along? What better way to make sure they're getting along than by saying, hey, you work for me. Do you have a friend? Right? Because then I know that the people that are working together already know each other. They already get along, less conflict. So this is why referral systems work. This is why they're willing to pay. So a lot of times you can ask for referrals. So there's other opportunities there. You can visit facilities in person. You can go to job fairs, community events. There's trade magazines. There's lots of ways to find a job. If you have a valid CNA certification and a pulse, you should not be unemployed. They need you. And they're not being all that picky. Seriously. If you have a pulse and a blue card, you are prime candidates. You need to be a little picky. So we want to make sure that the application matches the description. We want to apply to all positions listed, and we want to apply again if there's no response. We've already been over this, but I have a slide for it. All right, so let's go to page 175 and let's talk about some interview tips. Chapter 10 covered this pretty well. I'm not going to get into this
a whole lot, but there are a few things I want to bring to your attention. The first is the great debate. What do you wear to an interview? Now, certainly business professional is always appropriate. It's what people have been wearing to interviews forever. Nice pair of slacks, a nice dress shirt, maybe a blazer if you have it, whatever, look nice, right? But there's an old saying, dress for the job you intend to get. Anybody ever hear that? What do CNAs wear? Scrubs. So if you go in business professional and I have a receptionist position open, I'm immediately going to think about you for the receptionist position because that's the part you look. You may be the best CNA in the world, but I can't see it because, you look like a front desk person right now.
I've done this. I've gone in and said, sorry about my appearance. I just got off from my other job. And they said, oh, that's okay. You're fine.
Right.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I feel uncomfortable going in your scrubs.
Absolutely. Scrubs are appropriate, but, and there's a big but here, okay? They need to be neat, clean, pressed. You should have creases. If you don't know how to put creases in something, take them to the dry cleaner. Don't just take them out of the dryer, shake them out, put them on like we do for class, right? We want to look a little better than that. Don't wear prints. Dark colors, solid colors, no prints, no summer ice cream colors like yellows and pinks and light blues and turquoise and things like that. You want dark professional. Now let me explain why. About 9 or 10 years ago, most facilities went to solid color coded departments. So that means that if you are wearing Royal, I know that you are this type of person. If you're wearing Navy, I know you're a nurse. If you're wearing wine, I know that you're a phlebotomist. They color coded everybody. Now, when that changeover took place and people went from wearing whatever they wanted, Looney Tunes, to having to wear a specific color, everybody revolted. And it was horrible. And now managers are stuck playing fashion police. And they're pulling people aside and saying, you're not in the right uniform. You have to go home and change. And they were getting a lot of well, if I go home, I'm not coming back. Just follow the rules. And the managers were just getting so frustrated over trying to tell adults how to dress that now if you show up in a print, they're automatically going to think that you're a problem and they're not even going to take you on because they're just not going to fight you. So if you come in solids, you tend to present better. It's a little bit more professional. Bonus, if you happen to if you know what color the CNAs are wearing at that facility and you happen to have that color, wear it. Okay, look the part. Because if you took the time to figure out what color you're supposed to be in and you're in that color and I don't have to play fashion police and you're not even hired yet, hired. Okay, this is a really, really big deal out there. You would not believe how big of a deal this is, but it is a big deal out there. And I know it because I own the only scrub store in the county. And they all have to shop with me. And I hear it all the time. So, little tip, if you're going to wear scrubs, make sure they're solid in color. Bonus, if you know the color of the facility that you're going to be interviewing at. You have that. Don't go out and buy it, but if you happen to have it, wear it. No prints. No prints. If you have visible tattoos, keep them covered until you find out what their tattoo policy is. Some places are fine with it. We don't care. Other places are like, yeah, no visible tattoos, please. So you want to find out the place that you work for, what their tattoo policy is. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's very unpopular. People think that you can't be discriminated against because of tattoos, and that is absolutely untrue. It is not a protected trait. Your sex is,
your race is, your sexual expression is, but not tattoos. When you are being paid to do a job, you are being paid to represent my values. The person signing your paycheck, my value, not yours. You be yourself on your time when you're paying you. When I'm paying you, you're going to reflect my values. And if my values are no visible tattoos, you're going to comply with that or you're not going to work here. Does that make sense? So be careful. Something that I always tell.
Some results.
There we go. Something, I got to figure out how to turn that off. Something I always tell people is if you're going to get tattoos, get them in non-visible places. That way you don't limit your job opportunities later in life. We had a young man that took class probably about 7-8 years ago, and across his neck in big, I mean big letters all the way across his neck in very intricate old English calligraphy. I mean, it's a beautiful FTW. I'm like, you're going to have a problem getting hired. He's like, it's for the win. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. So just be careful about the choices that you make as far as tattoos. And when it comes to interviews, keep them covered until you find out their policy. Most places are now like, we don't care. As long as you show up, you're good. But there are some, and there's one hospital group in particular that is growing into Hernando County. So I'm telling you this on purpose. Their tattoo policy is strict. A couple other things. You want to be odor neutral. That means don't smell like perfume. Don't be overly flowery, but also don't smell like cigarettes or anything else that we take in. Keep your personal habits out of the interview room, okay? Febreze does not cover as well as you think it does. Make sure you smile. I can't stress this enough. If you look like you don't want to be at the interview, you're going to look like you don't want to be at work. And that's not really the impression I want to give my patients. So I don't care if you're having the worst day in the world, smile and fake it. Okay, smile and fake it. You want to put forth the best possible version of yourself for the interview. So smile. Along the same lines, eye contact. Remember, half of our job is observation and reporting. Half of our job, observation. So if you aren't making eye contact during the interview, you're not going to observe in a clinical setting. I know you're nervous during the interview. I get it. I absolutely understand you're nervous during the interview. You know when else you're going to be nervous? When everything has gone to crap and your patient is coding and you are stressed out beyond belief and you don't know what to do and you got doctors and nurses in there barking orders at you. You don't think you're going to be nervous then? We rely on you to be able to give us information even when you're nervous. So if you're not making eye contact during the interview, that tells them that you are not good under stressful situations. And healthcare is nothing but stressful situations. So you've got to at least be able to make eye contact during the interview. Okay? Does that make sense? Way more important than you think it is. Handshakes. Let's talk about handshakes. And it's very distressing to me that people aren't taught how to shake hands anymore. So you may already know, but we're going to go over it anyway. Okay? Never, ever shake hands while you're sitting. If I walk over here to shake your hand, you do not shake my hand until you stand up. Never shake hands while... Why they aren't teaching this, I don't know. But that is absolutely... When you stand up, you become level with the person you're shaking their hand. That is a power dynamic, people.
and it's very important. These are nonverbal cues that you're giving off. You do not shake hands from a sitting position. You stand up so you're always eye to eye. When you shake hands, you are not the Queen of England. Nobody's kissing your ring. This is not a handshake. This is a wet fish. When you shake hands, put your hands straight forward, thumb pointed up, just like this. Grasp the hand once up, once down, return to the middle, withdraw. That is a handshake. Not, okay, we're not thumb wrestling. Once up, once down, return to the middle, withdraw. If you have sweaty hands, keep them in your pocket as you go to the room. And when you go to, shake their hand before you sit down, wipe your hand off if you take it out of your pocket. That's fine. There's no reason for you not to shake hands, okay? But make sure you're shaking appropriately. I don't know why they're not teaching those things anymore, but they're important. We want to answer questions thoroughly. And by thoroughly, I mean given the information they asked for, but not your life story. So you don't want to, give this great big long-winded explanation if they ask, how much experience have you had as a CNA? You want to answer the question, but be brief. Respect their time. You don't want to say something like, well, yeah, I haven't really had a lot of experience because I went to class and then my kid got sick and then I couldn't really go in and practice. And then I took my test and I got certified. But yeah, I don't really have much cut to the chase, right? I was unable to gain a lot of experience, but I'm a quick learner and I know I'll be an asset to your company. Way better. Okay, be brief, but answer their questions. At the end of the interview, there's going to come a point in time that they're going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? The very worst thing that you can do here is say, no, I'm good. Because it shows that you're uninterested or worse, uninformed. You do not want to leave the interviewer with that impression of you. You should have some questions to take in with you at the interview. You turn the page. I've given you a whole list of questions that you can use for do you guys see how easy I make this? I've done everything but get the job for you. Take the questions in with you. The other thing that you should take in with you is a notebook, a small notebook in your pocket with a pen. Always. Never go to an interview without a pen and something to write on, and this is why. Let's say that you get the job, right? And I say, listen, I'm interested in hiring you. We have orientation on Monday. It's going to meet across the street in the medical office building, second floor. You're going to meet with Cynthia. You need to be there on Monday at 8 a.m. across the street, second floor. I think it's room 212. And then you'll do 3 days with Cynthia in that room. And then after that, I'm going to put you on 2 North and you're going to be with Rhonda and she's going to kind of show you the ropes for a couple of days. For the 3 days with Cynthia, you can just wear regular clothes. But when you're with Rhonda, I need you in scrubs. And our color here is wine. So do you have any questions? Do you think you're going to remember any of that when you get down the hallway? So you're going to have to call up and say, where was I supposed to go? Who was I supposed to see? What was I supposed to wear? And do you know the person answering the phone has no idea what you're talking about? So take a notebook because if they give you information, you need to write it down. You also need to know how much they're planning on paying you. You're not working for free. And when they give you an offer, you want to write it down. Because later on, if they say, yeah, we're going to offer you $17.10 an hour. And then when you get to orientation, they say, we're starting you off at $16 an hour. You can pull out your notebook and say, oh, but the interviewer said $17.10. Can we address this? Okay. Documentation, people, get used to it.
Is that how is that a real pay?
Every place is a little bit different right now. It depends on demand. If they're having trouble getting employees, they have to pay more to get employees, right? It also is going to depend on the type of work you do. If you're working in assisted living, it's minimal patient care. So they're not going to pay as much. If you're working in a nursing home on the long-term care side, they're probably going to pay a little bit more because it's a higher level of care. So a lot of things go into deciding what they're going to, there's no standardized pay scale that says all CNAs are going to get $18.40 an hour. There's nothing out there like that for Florida. There is in other states, but not Florida.
And then how much is for home care if you want to work in your neighborhood?
It depends. Are you getting paid per visit? Or are you doing shifts where you're getting paid per hour? There's two different ways of getting paid in home care.
And then you need to bring your own kit, or they supposed to have their own.
Everything is going to. You're not bringing personal care items with you, but you may need a gate belt. Yes. So every place is going to be a little bit different with how they structure that. Again, that would be a great question to ask during an interview. Okay. It's a great interview question. All right. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a thank you note. Sorry, let me go through this. I almost forgot this. Take a packet with you. This is like super important. I can't believe I forgot this. Take a packet with you. Your packet should have a resume, your blue card, a copy of your blue card, never your original. You always keep your original. Your CPR and first aid cards, if you have them, your certificate of completion you're about to get from in here. And if you're going to be working in home care, your driver's license and auto insurance. You need to have a packet with you when you go to your interviews. And the reason is, let's say that I have two people that came and interviewed, and I'll just pick on Stacy and Marie here. They both came in and interviewed. They both have exactly the same experience, which is pretty much none. I know you do, but they both interviewed just fine. There's no real difference between them. I would be happy with either one of them, but I have to make a decision. I can say, Marie, I'd like to hire you, but there's some things I need for your employee file. I need a resume. Do you have one? I need your blue card. Do you have a copy of it? I need your CPR and first aid certification that they have to be in your file. And did you go to school anywhere? Do you have a certificate you can give me to prove that you went through some sort of training? Get all of that together, get it over to Human Resources. When your file is complete, they'll get in touch with me. I'll schedule you for orientation. Or I can pick up the phone and say, Stacy, you want to start Monday? Because she already brought me a packet with everything I need. Which one am I going to do as an employer? Easy. The easy one. The one I can say, can you start right away? Because I am short-staffed. If I have to wait for her to get all this stuff together and give it over to me, that's more shifts that are uncovered. I want the most prepared candidate that can start immediately, like today. And Stacy brought everything that she needs, so I can actually get her on the schedule today.
So the driver's license is
for home care.
Oh.
No, it says right there, for home care.
And why do you need insurance?
Because you are going to be traveling on company business. They need to make sure that you have a driver's license and insurance.
Oh.
You might actually be transporting patients in your car as well. So they need to make sure that they have that on file.
Now for home care, I have got a silly question. Anyway, your certificate, HHA?
Mm-hmm. You don't need an HHA if you have a CNA.
Okay.
Yes, CNAs trump HHAs. You only need an HHA if you have no other medical certifications at all. We got to make sure that you understand at least basic infection control and privacy.
2004, so it probably changed. Hospice, I had my CNA, and I did not have that. I needed to have wanted it. Let's put it that way. Oh, it took me, you know how I am anyway, it took me just as much frustration to get that. So you don't need it now.
Your facility may require different.
Yeah.
But from a legal standpoint in the state of Florida, in order to work home care, you need either an HHA or a CNA. Okay. The employer may require both for whatever reason. That's their internal. I can set whatever I can say I want a bachelor's degree for somebody to work the front register. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense, but as the employer, I can declare that. Absolutely. It's well within my rights. It doesn't make any sense. And that is a situation of not making any sense, but the employer may require it. Remember, those policies are written by human resources, and human resources are non-medical people, so they may not understand the difference between CNA and home health aide, and they may not be up to date on all of the legal aspects of it. So make sure that you're making a packet. If you want the job, the person with the packet gets the job. And I'm telling you this because all of the people that are going to be interviewing you shop with me. They know I have this class. They're the ones that told me, have your students make packets. No packet, no offer. Your students want jobs, have them make a packet. So what did I do? I created a slide to tell you guys to make the packets. Now, furthermore, a lot of the people that are out there that are going to be hiring you, a lot of those managers once sat in the exact chairs that you're sitting in. Because a very, very high percentage of our students that started out in this classroom went on to be nurses and then went on to get their bachelor's degree. I have three right now that are nurse practitioners, and one of them who has a doctorate in nursing, who sat right here in these chairs. I've been doing this for 15 years, guys. That's a very long time. So a lot of those nurse managers out there know the education that you received because they got the same start. They expect the packets. Make a good impression. So again, you want to make sure that you have good eye contact. You want to answer questions. You want to ask questions. You want to make sure you understand your job requirements. You want to be prepared, be confident, and explain why you are a good choice. Remember, the interview is your opportunity to shine and get noticed. But interviews always come with this question. Now, I don't get this because you all know this question is coming. There isn't an interview in the world that doesn't ask this question. You know it's coming. It's an open book question because the subject is you. And yet when I ask this question, every one of you is going to freeze up. I don't know what to say. What do I say? So I'm going to give you a formula. You're going to want a pen and paper for this. This is the only thing I make you write down because it's important. All right. The formula, in order to answer this formula, anybody play Mad Libs when you were a kid? Mad Libs? It's kind of like a Mad Libs, okay? In order to create this formula, you need to know your past job roles. So what did you do in the past, right? So were you a server? Were you an accountant? Did you work in retail customer service? Did you operate a forklift? I mean, what did you do? What are your past roles? What are some job experience that you've had in the past? Then we want to know 3 soft skills that you developed during those roles. We want to know why you want to work in healthcare and 3 positive personality traits. I'm going to go through these one at a time. So make sure you know your past job roles. But these are soft skills. Okay, we want to pick 3 that apply to us. So when you were a forklift operator,
or whatever it was that you were? Did you develop active listening skills? Did you pay attention to detail? Did you learn how to anticipate needs? Anybody in here ever a server? Anybody server? Okay, if you were a server, you learned to anticipate needs. You looked to see, was the water glass half empty? That means we need more water. Okay. Communication. This is every industry. You develop some sort of communication skill. Some of you went on to develop conflict management skills as well. You know, when you're a server and you have that one customer that eats everything on the plate except for one bite and says, "Ooh, there was a hair in it. I don't want to pay for it." Right? And you want to try to not smack them upside the head. Right? That's conflict resolution. Okay? Yes, it happens. Interpersonal skills. Do you have them? Are you able to relate well with others? Do you have good observation skills? Are you able to display professionalism? What about self-management? Now, I'm really good at self-management. I get a lot done. I do not have somebody standing over me, breathing over my neck. If I sit down at my computer, I'm going to do my work. I don't need somebody to monitor whether I'm on Facebook or not. I have very good self-management. Some of you guys do too. You can be given a task and you'll do it. Others need a little more direction. If you need a little more direction and oversight, don't use that. Okay. Time management. Now, I really suck at this one. I am not good with time management. I'm very good at self-management, but time, not so much. So I am not putting that on anything I use. No, I'm not time management. Adaptability, collaboration, dependability, diplomacy. I'm very, very good at diplomacy. Very good. Empathy, not so much. I'm not very good at empathy. Sympathy, yeah, I'll give you all the sympathy in the world. But empathy, no, I'm going to solve your problem for you. That's what I do. I'm a problem solver. Organization, optimism. I'm pretty optimistic. I would use that one. I'm pretty optimistic. Prioritization, punctuality, not so much. And teamwork. I'm very good in a team setting. I can organize effectively. So I'm going to pick 3 out of that apply to me. Okay. So I'm going to go through this list and find 3 that apply to me. So for me, attention to detail, communication, and self-management would be my 3. That would be my top 3. Okay. So those are 3 traits that apply to me. So find your 3 and write them down. Then, once we have our 3, we want to know why you want to work in healthcare. Why are you here? Why are you taking a class? Why are you trying to be a CNA? Is it to help take care of your neighbor? Could be. Is it because you're looking for a job with more stability? Could be. Looking for something that is recession-proof because you see the signs on the horizon? Could be. Maybe you're looking for a second job that you can make a little bit of extra money on the side that has some flexible hours. That could be a good reason to be in healthcare. Maybe you've always known you were supposed to be in healthcare and you're drawn to it. I don't care what your answer is, find one. Why are you here? And be able to articulate it. And then we need to find 3 positive traits. So, flexible. I'm pretty flexible. Dedicated. Oh boy, am I dedicated. Energetic. Not so much. Positive. Yes. Responsible. Absolutely. Honest to a fault. Passionate about the care I provide. You guys can all answer that. And dedicated to teamwork. Absolutely. I'm here to pull out the best in each one of you. So I could find 3 words there that fit me. You should also be able to find 3 words there that fit you. So now that we have all of these things together, We know where we used to work. We have our 3 soft skills. We know why we wanted to work in medical, and we have 3 positive personality traits. I can put all of that together into this. When somebody asks me, tell me a little bit about yourself, I would say my past experience has been as a server, where I excelled in time management, organization, and prioritization. But I really wanted a more rewarding career with stable hours and in a recession-proof industry. So I became certified as a CNA. I'm now ready to begin my career in healthcare. And I believe I would be an asset to your company because I'm dependable, flexible, and honest. I thank you for this opportunity to interview for this position. Guys, this is your answer to tell me a little bit about yourself. Not, well, I was born in Virginia. Mama and daddy got divorced. We moved to Pennsylvania. They don't get that has no relevance on anything. This is what they need to know. Where have you been? What have you learned? Why are you here? And why should I want you? I've answered all 4 of those questions in this one small snippet. This would pretty much end the interview. I'm getting the job. I'm getting the job. There's no doubt that I'm getting the job. You have to have some confidence in yourself as well. Okay? But this is the hardest part of every interview, and I just gave you the whole answer.
I want a copy that can be used for anything.
Any job. Any job. Yeah. Yep. And yeah, I that's mine. I came up with that, guys.
Can you please come back a little bit?
Well, you can watch the replay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can watch the replay. And then after the interview, you need to send a thank you card. And it needs to be written and it needs to be mailed. Yeah, you can send an email, but guys, I have almost 3,000 emails in my email box. I don't want another one. Don't care. Don't send me an email. If you send me a card in the mail that says, thank you for the opportunity to interview for this position, I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to pay attention to that because I don't get nice cards very often. Most of the things I get in the mail are bills. I don't want to open those. If I get a nice card that says thank you, I'm going to open it. But here's the thing. In order to be hired, you have to be remembered. And on interview days, I'm probably going to interview 6 or 8 people. I'm not going to remember you. There's nothing about you to make you stand out if I didn't hire you on the spot. So by sending me a thank you card, you're bringing me back to mind. If I remember you, I can hire you. And I'll give you an example of how this plays out. Now, it wasn't a card. It was actually a phone call. When I was interviewing for this position, I had not made a decision. I had interviewed several candidates to work in the retail store. And I had one that I was like, I'm not real sure if this is the one. Let me think about it a little bit. But I was getting further and further behind because now I'm having to work in the store instead of doing my other work because I don't have an employee. And this employee called me up on the phone. Says, hey, I'm just checking in to see if you made a decision. Is there anything else I can get for you? I said, yeah, come in on Tuesday. Right? She caught me in a moment of weakness. And I made a decision right there because it's easy. She made it easy for me to hire her. Make it easy. Send them a thank you note. Let them know who you are. Make it easy for them to hire you. When you make it easy, they're going to take the bait. It's like fishing, guys. Right? And she's turned out to be a good employee. Bonus. All right. Let's talk about PRN opportunities. So PRN means as needed. Remember, it's not abbreviated English. Don't try to make it into English. It won't make any sense to you. It's abbreviated Latin. It means as needed. Don't shy away from PRN opportunities because most of the first jobs you're going to be offered are going to be PRN opportunities. And that's because if I hire you full time and I try to get rid of you, I got to jump through major hoops. We got to do verbal warnings and written warnings and write-ups. And if you're a horrible CNA, it takes me forever to get rid of you. Now, if I hire everybody as PRN, that just means as I need you. It doesn't mean on call. PRN is not on call. PRN means you're going to go on the schedule, but you're going to kind of fill in where I need you. Consider PRN positions as paid interviews. Because when they put you on a schedule as a PRN and you tell them, okay, I'm available on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I put you on the schedule for Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, if you aren't working out, you just don't get put back on the schedule. I don't have to go through write-ups and verbal warnings and all this other stuff. I just don't schedule you. Now, if you're hired full-time, that's different. Because full-time, I'm saying you're going to get however many hours we agreed on. So PRN is what most medical opportunities start out as. PRN. Now, if you do a good job as a PRN, you're going to get more hours. And eventually, you'll probably get that full-time position. A PRN is nice because it pays more. Your hourly wage for PRN is more because I don't have to offer you benefits. So a lot of people that do PRN, they never go full-time because they get more money per shift. Okay, good. All right, but just because you're leaving us doesn't mean we're leaving you. Remember, right, you still have this room available on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1:30 until 4. It's on the back of your ID badge. Mondays and Wednesdays, 1:30 to 4. You have the online course that's still available to you. You have the videos on our main website. I'm not doing the weekly live anymore. We'll get back to that eventually. You have the game show, which will be next Tuesday for another episode of the game show, and the practice test in your book and online. So I've got a lot of additional learning resources for you. Just because you're not coming to class doesn't mean that your learning opportunities are over. And we have a practice test on page 191 that you can go through and see how you score. If you miss 5 or less, you're ready for the state exam. If you miss more than 5, you need to review. And the ebook for your CNA.com/ebook is a great way to review for the written test. Right there. That's what my ebook looks like. Not doing that anymore. So here's practice kit. Good timing. So this is the practice kit that I was talking to you about. Comes in a handy carrying case. It all stacks together nice and neat. So in here, we have our emesis basin, our graduate container, our smalls kit with gloves, toothbrush, denture brush, orange stick, emery board, and alcohol pads. And then we have a bedpan. We have a food tray. We have lotion and soap. We have a gait belt, a urinary bag, and here's the graduate container. We have chucks, and we have the bath basin. So everything in here to be able to practice for the state exam right in home. It all stacks together. It goes into this bag. Oh, yeah, the dentures aren't in here, yeah. Denture practice. Can you go ask him for a denture and a denture cup, please? Yeah. And this today is your last day for $45.99. After that, you'll order it. It'll be $65.99. So we're giving you a $20 discount on that, which is huge. Basically, I'm giving it to you for my cost. But all of the supplies you can see there. All right, so other resources. We have the flashcards we talked about, the card game, which makes learning a little bit more fun. On the back of your ID badge tells you about the practice room. If you don't take anything else out of here, guys, If you forget everything that I've said, please remember this, your scope of practice. Please remember that above all, it's all about the patient. And everything we see, hear, smell, or feel, we report to the nurse. If you can't remember anything else, those two things right there is enough to help you pass the test. Those two things. If you treat that patient like they're the most important person in the world, and you remember that you have to report anything abnormal to the nurse, that is 95% of the state exam. Okay. All right, online course, you guys all got invitations to this in your email. If you did not get an invitation, let me know. And then the game show will be Tuesday at 11.
When is your next CPR classes?
Saturday.
I can't this Saturday, but maybe after that.
I don't know when the next one is. I'm not real sure. I'd have to look at the schedule. Just after class, remind me, and I'll take a look at the schedule to tell you when the next one is.
So this
I kn-
Saturday, what time?
9 a.m.
And how long?
4 hours.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna try to join. When is the last day to register?
Oh no, you don't have to register. Just show up.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be $55.
55.
Yeah. So these are the denture trainers. They look like dentures, don't they? They have a channel. They're not real. You can't actually put them in your mouth, but it's a good way to practice denture care. I actually have my mom make these. Doesn't she do a good job? Let's give Mom a round of applause. She does a good job.
Buy those candies.
So it comes in the practice kit. Yeah, candies, but I had a really hard time finding denture trainers, things for you guys. So I asked my mom to make them. So she's a good sport. So that goes in there. All right. So any questions on anything that we've gone over today? I told you there was a lot to go over today. Even though we're not doing skills, there's a lot to cover because I want to make sure that you're ready for life outside of class. This is my last opportunity with you. We're going to take a class photo now. If you're not in uniform, I can't have you in the photo. So I do apologize. I'm not going to, because you're in a print.
Okay.
I do apologize. And
I have the upper part of my car.
if you've got the scrub top, please. Because I
stay on the back and nobody's going to see me.
I do want everybody, I want to present a professional photo with everybody in the right colors. So I need you to put your yellow books up here for me, if you would.
I'm going to keep mine. Can I pass the card?
Just remind me before you leave today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go keep my
So put your yellow books up here and then meet me out front. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that after the picture. Yeah. That's fine. Do that after the picture. Okay, guys, come on out. You're welcome. Okay, tall people here on the yellow stripe. Short people on the pavement.
I have no idea.
Nope, don't have to.
Don't have to be. Okay, no.
She said witness protection.
You don't have to be, no. Anyone else coming?
No.
Nope. Okay, out of a class of 16, we got 4. Everybody take a small step this way so you're centered in front of the window. One more.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't find it. It's clear that, but I think it's maybe it.
Oh, your shirt?
I need some chapstick. Man, my lips are all chapped.
I knew.
I was gonna say, mine's a zipper one.
Yes. Aw. Yeah, it has everything in it that you need. Okay. That's fine. All right. So we're going to take a serious photo. Just smile because you graduated. Yay. All right. Now celebrate. Yay. Celebrate. Okay. I'm going to post those on my Facebook page, and then we'll go inside. I'll post those in a few minutes. You can go find yourself and tag, share, whatever you want.
No, you asked me.
I baked you a pumpkin bread.
But
Oh, that's at the home. But
Aw.
if I come Saturday, I'm gonna try
Okay.
to come.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay, yep, I have those at home.
Is it
I
good?
mean, I bought them from her too, yep.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice.
All right. So any final questions? Any final questions about anything? All right, we're going to very quickly congratulate the people that let us know this week that they have passed the state exam. We're going to send out good vibes to those who are getting ready to test. And then we're going to, thank you, Caitlin. That's so sweet. And then we're going to stop the live stream so I can graduate you guys out, okay? Because I don't want them to all know. All right, so here we go. Who are we congratulating, Caitlin? All right. Paul, Abyssinia Paul, Tara B, congratulations. Marsha Butler, congratulations on passing the state exam. We have Janice Walden, congratulations. And awaiting results, we have Renisha Smith, very good. Good vibes out to you. And Elegant K, awaiting results. So testing soon, Carrie Adams Hart. And that's it. All right. So those of you who are awaiting results and testing soon, we're going to send good vibes out to you. Everybody that passed, congratulations to you and welcome to the wonderful world of healthcare. We're so happy to have you. And thank you for making us part of your journey as well. We're going to be back on January 8th with a whole nother CNA class. I'm taking a couple of months off to work on videos and some other projects that I'm working on. So I hope to see you guys on January 8th, Monday at 9 a.m. And we'll do a whole nother class session with a whole nother group of students. So I hope to see you there. Make sure you tune in for the game show on Tuesday. And until next time, happy caregiving. Bye.